Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. And if you're new here for the first time, my name is Megan and I'm so glad that you stopped by today because we have more harvesting to do. Now, the funny thing is, for the last couple of videos, I've been saying how much I would like for it to rain more because it has been very hot with very little rain, and we have been watering the garden a lot these last couple of weeks. And today, the day of all days that I have to film, it started raining and thunderstorming. And while I'm very grateful, I'm going to try to give you as much as I can as far as updates, and we're going to harvest as much as we can. So let's get started. All right, friends, let's go up there. I typically, when I start seeds, I like to start the video off like that, but because I am racing for, you can see all those dark clouds and it is drizzling a little bit, so my focus is going to be out here first, and then at the very end I will show you all of the seed starts for the upcoming fall garden. And just a quick update on the green stalks. I finally planted all the spots that I wanted to plant before I plant other things, for instance like the potatoes in the fall. I'm not planting those just yet, but all of the green stalks that I wanted planted are planted. I have that one over there because the sun's been so brutal. So the tomatoes are over there because they weren't looking good, you guys. But I just want to give you a quick update. I will be doing another GREENSTALK garden tour in the next week or so. You guys, look at all that loveliness. Everything is so lush and green. It's so beautiful. I do love when the garden is has been rained on like this. It just looks very lush. I just kind of wish it would stop for my recording, but thankfully, you guys, it's just a little bit of drizzle, so hopefully I can get through this whole video. All right, let's start with the peppers like we always do. So I'm going to start with this bed, which is mostly all sweet peppers, and then that is some sweet peppers and some hot peppers. Now, I think we actually have, so do you remember these from last week, you guys? They already grew. I'm telling you, these are really good peppers. So we're gonna go ahead and harvest these. These are the Golden Sunshine, and they are definitely my new favorites. All right, so I'm actually seeing a lot of peppers, but I think maybe by next week, you guys will be able to harvest a lot more, because even though I've been watering, like I said, there's just some, rainwater is just way better. It helps with nitrogen, and it's just way better than watering your garden. Now, I do water my garden. It's important to keep it hydrated, but I'd rather have rainwater any day. You guys, look at this beauty. I'm telling you, the Golden Sunshine, you are my new best friend. I'm telling you right now. I am so excited about this. It's not even funny. Look at it, it's turning orange, so I'm gonna let this ripen in the house. So the Italia peps are doing really good. I think I'm actually going to take these off just because I want the plant to grow more peppers and put energy into some other buds. And I'll let these, because these have been ripening really good in the house actually. So we're gonna take these as well. We have another pepper here. Got this one, and we got that one. And look at the little red mushrooms. They're so cute. I can't wait for these to turn red. Oh my goodness, look at, do you see all those little guys? I didn't even see those before. Look at you guys. Oh, I hope I get a bunch of these. These are the cutest little peppers I've seen so far. You guys, look at the Jimmy Nardellos. These are so fun. Okay, I'm a Jimmy Nardello fan for sure, because these are really fun to grow. And I love that they can turn red in the house and you don't have to wait, but they're just, the way they grow, they're so cute how they like scrunch up and they're curly. They're so fun. Oh, and you guys, it looks like we have a sweet banana pepper. So yes, please, I'll take you. Thank you. Now this side we have some more bell peppers growing, so hopefully next week we can grab those. But you guys, overall that's a really good pepper harvest from that bed. And also a quick update on the grapevines. They're doing pretty good. I don't see grapes, but I also don't see that it's dying. So we'll just have to keep an eye on these and see how they do in the weeks to come. Look at that, you guys, another golden sunshine. I'm telling you, these are really good. I love these. And we also have some more mulatto isleno, so let's go ahead and grab those too. All right, so we do have some more peppers down here, but I'm gonna let those grow more. But do you guys remember the yellow jalapenos, how they were lime green? They're ready to harvest. I love these jalapenos. Now, just a quick update on these peppers over here. They're actually doing really good, and there's a few that I see that could possibly be harvested, but I think because we're finally getting some good rain, I'm gonna let them sit on here for a little bit and see if they get bigger and just change color. But I am gonna grab this mulatto isleno over here and add that to our pile of peppers. You guys, look at this sweet little sunflower, and I don't know if you can see that little bee. He's just sitting there, probably trying to stay away from the rain. So sweet. So far, you guys, the green beans on both sides are doing really good. There's nothing to harvest today. I'm gonna focus on peppers, some of these cucumbers, because there's some to harvest, as well as all of the tomatoes. That is going to be my main focus. But if there are any green beans during the week, I will add it to the video. Now, I do want to point something out. If you guys remember how I said I was gonna leave the onions in there, and the other side has some shallots, they've grown. And I really am liking this idea so far of having them in here and then picking them fresh. We'll see how it goes by the end of the season. I know they look like they're ready to be picked. I'm not going to. I'm trying to pick them as I need them for fresh eating, even though I just harvested a ton of onions not long ago. But I'm just experimenting here, and so far, I really do like them in the bed. And also an update on the second planting of cucumber seeds. They are doing really good, and they germinated and they are growing. So hopefully we can get a second batch of cucumbers. All right, so you can see there are definitely some cucumbers we are going to harvest. So far, everything is still growing pretty good. I haven't had too much pest damage this year. And you can see that I have some more growing right here. Of course, the lighting is not the best because of how gray it is, but these are the piccolini and the poniente F1 cucumbers, and they're just, I'm telling you, they're one of my favorites, and they do so very well. That's why I plan to plant these every year, but I'm gonna go ahead and we are going to harvest some of these cucumbers. All right, friends, here's an up close of the cucumber, and then also that one that I'll be picking down there. Now, I will say, I was recently on Facebook and someone had made a comment because they showed a picture of a yellow cucumber like that. And of course, you know, in the comment section, everyone has different thoughts and ideas and opinions. And let me get down. And from one of the comments I read, Boston pickling, which I have Russian and Boston pickling on this side, they do get yellow like that. And like I said last week, as long as they taste good, you guys, I'm fine with whatever color they are. All right, I'm on the other side because I saw one over here. I feel like there's a bunch of cucumbers now, all of a sudden to harvest. So, not complaining, very happy. Now I'm on this side. Green beans are doing good, nothing to harvest right now, but I am going to grab a couple of the cucumbers up there real quick. I do want to give you an update on this cucumber plant on the ground. Look at how much it has just sprawled out. And I still see a lot of cucumber buds. And there's actually one that we're going to harvest real quick. It's right in here. Look at that cutie pie. Come over here. Look at that. That is so exciting, you guys. I'm telling you, I'm learning a lot from this cucumber plant, and even like this tomato plant that's growing out of the ground. You can see there's some cherry tomatoes. I'll probably grab that at the end. But I'm learning a lot from these plants that are growing in the ground here. All right, I'm gonna give you a quick update on the tomatoes. You can see they are just wild And because we had the storm earlier, some of them fell down. I have to put those back up. But my focus right now is that I am just going to pick as many tomatoes as possible. And then I am going to show you at the very end. We have a lot of tomatoes, you guys, just a ton of tomatoes everywhere. Some still green, some that are blushing, and some that are just ready for picking. I am definitely losing light because these gray skies are not helping me, and while it's just drizzling, I can handle that with the camera. It's just is making it a little bit hard. So here's what I did. I went ahead and I harvested from this bed. This has all of my San Marzanos, and then that one that I showed you just a little bit ago is all of my Martina Romas, and I harvested as much as I could see. Now I do want to give you updates on this bed as well as this bed. So those are my last two tomato beds that I put my tomato plants in. So there's a lot of green tomatoes, but there's none to harvest right now. And this one, there's a few on here to harvest, but this was one of my later tomato beds as well. This one we've been harvesting from a lot, and I am going to harvest very quickly. But you guys, look at all the tomatoes that I harvested just from the two beds right here and over here. That is a lot of tomatoes. In the meantime, before I harvest the other tomatoes, because I can quickly do that and show you, I do want to give you updates on everything. So we are finally getting a ton of tomatoes over here on this side. This is the newer trellising system that my husband had put together, and I am beyond excited about it. So we've got tomatoes growing. We have cucumbers that are growing very nice here, even though they're 2-gallon grow bags. Now, I do understand 2-gallon grow bags is kind of a hit or miss because it's not a lot of soil. With all the heat, we've had to keep them really hydrated. So this is kind of just an experiment. But so far, you guys, it hasn't been that bad. And that gourd, I will be harvesting that soon. I'm really looking forward to harvesting that because that's the first gourd I have ever grown. But you guys, look at all the tomatoes. I am very excited that all the tomatoes are starting to really come in so that we can harvest a bunch. And also an update on the watermelon. So far, they're still growing. Nothing has fallen. This keeps getting bigger every week. I also have that one back here that is growing bigger every week. This one's not looking very promising. This one is looking very promising. So you guys, even if I get one, I'll be happy. So that is really exciting to see because I've always had a really hard time growing watermelons. Now, before I end the video, I'm just gonna give you some updates, and then I'm going to go ahead and harvest the rest of the tomatoes, and we're gonna go in the garage and we're gonna see all the seed starts, and we're gonna see everything that we harvested. But you guys, one of the cantaloupes came right off the vine. I do plan to cut that open and insert it into this video, but so far, you guys, the cantaloupes are doing so good, and I'm beyond excited. So hopefully, we'll have more than just one cantaloupe, and hopefully the one that was that's in the house that came off of that vine turns out really good. I'm also still really liking this idea. You can see how, I don't know if you can see the water, how it flows. You see all that water? And the bags are just catching it at the bottom. I'm still liking this idea. Doesn't mean I might not change my mind in a couple of months, but so far I'm really liking how the bags are catching the water and getting extra water underneath for the soil. And I do want to keep you guys updated on my cherry tomato trellis. I love this trellis, you guys. I really do. I'm going to be doing this again next year. I think the cherry tomatoes are doing really good. Now, I think because this is newer soil, I do have a feeling that they could have done better. I think next year they're going to do even better because more established soil is just, I've learned that it's been so much better for the plants. So while I think they've done really good this year, don't get me wrong, these have been doing really good. I think next year they're going to do even better. And these cherry tomatoes, and also, I don't think, oh yeah, I do. Look at these cherry currants. You guys, these are my new favorite. The flavor of these is so delicious and so sweet. I love coming out here and picking these and eating them fresh. And then my last update, you guys, before I put the camera down and just go ahead and grab all of the tomatoes. I think all of these tomatoes in the bags are doing really good. A lot of the Martha F1s are blooming a lot and turning color. And then also the bags back here in the pallets are doing absolutely amazing. You can see all the red tomatoes. I'm gonna grab all those and I'm gonna show you at the end. And then if you're new to my channel, or if you didn't hear from the last video or two, I am completely getting this back ready for the fall garden. What I did was I tore out most of the stuff back here, added a little bit of straw, and I pretty much just planted all Antigua green beans to, one, get another harvest of food from the summer, but also to get the soil ready, because depending on some factors, the green beans help fix nitrogen back into the soil, and I plan to put cabbages and collards and cauliflower and broccoli in these bags. And so that's what I'm doing. And there's been a lot. Look, you can see they've already started germinating and growing, and I'm super, super excited. So that's the update for back here. Other than that, you guys, everything in this garden is growing beautifully. Mine is having to keep up with having everything watered, because you guys, it has been incredibly hot with very little to no rain. That's why while I'm so excited we're getting so much rain today, it doesn't make for a good recording, like I said, but I am super excited that we're getting rain today, which is why I'm out here still recording. I probably shouldn't be, but you know, that's just how it can be sometimes. Oh, look at the sweet potatoes. Aren't they great? They're so pretty. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and harvest the rest of these tomatoes, and then I'm gonna meet you back in the garage. All right, so we are in my garage now. It just was too rainy and it got dark really quickly. So I'm glad I was able to give you a quick update on the garden, and then I was able to harvest as much as I could. Now, before we go ahead and look at everything that we harvested, I do want to keep you updated on all of the fall starts that we started recently and show you those. But I'm also going to finally weigh the potatoes that we harvested back in the backyard garden on the pallet. So I went ahead and got my bowl, and I went ahead and got my weigher, and we're gonna finally harvest, or I mean, we're gonna finally weigh the potatoes to see how much we actually got out of those bags. So here are all the seedlings. At first, you guys, when I went to go check on them, they actually were kind of leggy, and I realized that the light over on the other shelving unit was kind of far away, and I could have moved the lights, but they had zip ties. These actually have these little chains, but you know what I did instead, you guys? Look at, I stacked the Bootstrap Farmer trays, and then I'm just gonna take one or two off at a time as they continue to grow, instead of messing with the chains. While I don't mind messing with the chains, I would just rather do this and see if that works. But you guys, everything is germinating really nicely. So just to kind of give a recap of what we're growing here, we have cabbages to Brussels sprouts, and we have cauliflower and broccoli, collards, lettuce, all sorts of stuff, Swiss chard. I'm so excited for the fall garden, you guys. But yeah, everything is looking really good. Now you can see some of them have more than one, because you know, sometimes seed is just small. So I'm probably going to just more than likely snip the extra one off, unless I feel like a certain variety I want a little bit more and I decide to put it in there, because I really don't want to up pot, you guys. Like I said before, in my fall seed starting, I'm over the up potting. So unless there's a variety, like I said, that I do want an extra one, or let's say for instance a few didn't germinate and there's two here, I don't mind taking one out gently, or at least try to, and stick it in the other one. But for the most part, I might just be, you know, snipping off a second one. But so far, you guys, everything is looking really good. And then here's the tray from GREENSTALK of all the kales. Those have been germinating really good. This one hasn't germinated. Oh, we have a couple little ones right here. But so far, this one is doing really good. You can see a lot of germination. So my whole thing is just to make sure that they don't get leggy. Because I've been so busy in the summer garden still, I don't want to neglect these in any way. So I have to keep a very close eye on these, but so far everything's looking really good. And then here's all the lettuce. I did overwater this one by accident, you guys, but so far everything's looking okay. I just hope that it's not too much water, because it will completely kill the little seedling root. but so far so good. All right, back in my little seed starting section with the bright lights on my face, but if I don't have these lights on my face, you can't see my face, so they are really bright though. Anyways, let's go ahead and weigh those potatoes that I harvested in the back on the pallet. Now, something I do want to share as I'm getting this weighing machine together, I'm going to tear it. Okay, now it's at 0. What I've learned in the 4 years of gardening here is that no matter how fresh the soil is and how good it is and all the nutrients that are in there when you first buy soil, I feel like while things do grow good in fresh soil and compost, don't get me wrong, they do. I just noticed that as soil stays established and you continue to feed it each year, that the plants that grow in there just do better every year. So with that being said, the reason I'm saying that is these bags in the back had fresh soil, and while I'm happy with the potatoes that I did harvest, I think that they will do better as each year goes on. Now, even though soil depletes over time and you have to add to it, there's still that rich soil that is at the very bottom that is just so full of nutrients because it's been established for a while, that I'm noticing even with my green stalks and my raised beds, that each year those plants just keep getting better each year. So I'm hoping, all of that to say, I am hoping that with these potatoes, or when I grow potatoes in those bags, the next time that they're gonna be even better because the soil is going to be a lot more established. All right, friends, let's go ahead and weigh those potatoes. So I will say this year was probably my best potato harvest. Now, granted, I grew potatoes in more than just one spot, but overall, I'm very happy with what I grew this year and what I harvested. All right, so we're at, let's see if we can get to 4 pounds. Okay, we're at 4 pounds. Let's see if we can get to 5 pounds. So if I don't drop any potatoes, so we're almost at 5 pounds. Let's see. All right, we're at 5 pounds, 0.8 ounces so far. All right, let's do another one. All right, so this last batch of potatoes weighs at 3 pounds, 14.4 ounces. And so here's what I did. I took the 5 pounds and the 3 pounds, add that together, that is 8 pounds. And then I'm taking the 14.4 ounces with the 0.08 ounces, which gives me, I'm looking at my phone because it converts it for me, to the it gives me 0.90 pounds. So overall, you guys, that is 8 pounds. I have to think about that for a second. 8 pounds, 0.9 ounces of potatoes in those grow bags. So I'm very happy with that. Now, interestingly, my 2 green stalks, I harvested almost 20 pounds. I was shy of like a 0.1 ounce of 20 potatoes in my vertical planters versus these being in my grow bags. Now, and this is why I mention about established soil, because even though I've replenished the soil in the green stalks, that soil has been there for a while, and it is just if you dig to the very bottom, it's so full of nutrients and it's such a healthy looking soil. And I think that's partially why I grew a good amount of potatoes in there, because I have been trying to grow potatoes in the green stalks for a while and haven't had the best success. While I've grown potatoes, it's nothing like what I harvested this year. And so that's why I say that about the grow bag. So I'm hoping again next year that we'll have an even bigger harvest with those bags. All right, I just realized I was looking back at the footage real quick. I meant to say 20 pounds, almost 20 pounds of potatoes, not 20 potatoes. But yeah, with the green stalk, I'm really happy with what I harvested this year. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and see what we harvested. I need a sip of coffee though. All right, I had to switch scenery here because I just could not get my camera to stay focused. It would have been nice to have it up there on the table with everything, but I have to sit over here so that I can show you everything and make sure that you can actually see it. So let's go ahead and start with the peppers. So we got a bunch of peppers this time, you guys. I'm really, really, really happy. This is full of water because it was outside, so I'm probably gonna have water just dripping out of the tray, and that's okay. So we've got, let's see, a lot of bell peppers, you guys. The mulatto isleno, and I think that this was, if I remember, the Joe Nulemix, and then the Jimmy Nardello, and then I did throw a sweet banana right here. Let's see, there was just one. There might have been more, you guys. It's just that it was starting to get dark, and I was trying to get everything else. And then we got some more jalapenos. I love these little yellow jalapenos. All I do with these is just put them in the freezer because I save them for making batches of salsa towards the end of the summer. And then you guys, Jimmy Nardello's is becoming one of my new favorite peppers too. They're sweet and they taste really good, and I love the way they grow. Look at how they're scrunchy and stuff. I just think that's so fun. So overall, really happy. And I did throw in some, oh, you see, full of water. Some tomatoes. Now these are the cream sausages. So last year I tried growing these in the GREENSTALK and they didn't do very well last year. And so I have these in a grow bag and I'm like, oh wow, these are really large. I had no idea because they grew kind of smaller in the GREENSTALK last year. So I'm really excited to see these. They're very pretty and I cannot wait to eat these. So we got a few of those in here and so far so good, you guys. I'm really loving all the bell peppers. Like I said, Golden Sunshine, a winner for me for sure. So let's go ahead and see the rest of the harvest. All right, now for the cucumbers. So we got a lot of cucumbers this time, just like last time. I have been so fortunate this year to get a bunch of cucumbers. Last year I got a bit, but this year's been the most. So that right there gets me so happy. So we have such a variety. Now I will say again, the yellow cucumbers, I have not had any taste issues with them. I had mentioned earlier in the video that I was on Facebook and one of the gardening groups that I'm in, someone had shown a picture of this and one of the comments was the Boston pickling is kind of like this color, and I am growing Boston pickling as well as Russian pickling. So that could be why. That's because I've never grown them before. So for me, as long as they taste good, I'm fine with, I don't care, how they look or whatever, but if they don't taste good, then obviously, I won't eat it. But for the most part, the ones that are yellow, they haven't tasted bad or bitter or anything. So I've had like 2 or 3 bitter cucumbers, but they weren't yellow ones. So I am keeping an eye on that because I know we're getting towards the end of the summer season, but so far they haven't been bitter. Most of them have not been bitter. So, and then this little guy right here is the Abe. This is my first Abe Lincoln tomato. It's kind of on the smaller side, but there is a bigger one out there if I remember growing. So I just have it here to keep it separated because I did pick a lot of varieties today. And then we do have the Roma tomatoes. Oh, as I'm dropping cucumbers, I do have small Roma tomatoes. I am just throwing those in there with the paste tomatoes for the end of the season to just add to my batch of preserving when I make salsa and whatever else I decide to make. So I kept those separate, but there's a good amount of tomatoes there too. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the tomatoes. So here are all of the Roma tomatoes, you guys. Now these are a mix of varieties. So there's Napoleon here, San Marzano. There is, let me just get this focused on here. There's, Martina Roma, San Marzanos, Napoli's, there's some just bush Roma tomatoes, and I think there might be another variety or two in here. And then the Sheboygan, there's been Sheboygan, there's been the Encarche, which is this one. These have been really good. I'm gonna definitely not know what to grow next year because all the different Romas that I started this year are all making me happy, you guys. So it's gonna be really tough next year to figure out. Now I will say, hands down, San Marzanos and Martina Romas, I will grow every year. And then I learned from Melissa K. Norris of the San Marzano 2 Roma. I didn't even know they had a number 2. I did buy seeds this year. It was a little too late to start them, so I will start those next year. So I am looking forward to trying the San Marzano 2. I don't know if there will be much of a difference, but I am really excited. So this is a really good harvest. And I actually already have 5 gallons of frozen Roma tomatoes in the freezer. So far, way more than what I grew last year, and I grew a lot last year, and there's still, you guys, there's still so much more tomatoes out there that are growing. I am beyond excited. I cannot wait to preserve these at the end of the summer. And then we also have a basket of like cherry tomatoes and Martha F1s. Let me grab that real quick. So this one is a mix of, so this one is the Martha F1. I've actually been harvesting some of these. These are delicious, you guys. These are really good. This is also Martha F1. And then, look at, I'm already forgetting. Oh, Floridade. There's Floridade in here, like the bigger ones. And I'm trying, oh, and then Ace Bush. which is a bush tomato plant. So they are a little bit cracked, but that's okay. So I have those, and then let me show you the little cherry tomatoes underneath, because I did harvest these really cute ones that are very, very, very pretty. Let me show you. You see these? I love them. Oh, look at that. They're together. They're lovebirds. Okay. So let me show you one that's not attached. Okay. So do you see that marbling? Isn't that a beautiful cherry tomato? So I think this is another version of the bumblebee, which is funny because it's growing in my bed of my different varieties of plum tomatoes. So I'm not really sure why it's in there. I might have mixed up plants. I'm not really sure, but yeah. So aren't they super pretty? And then I have a whole bunch of like other, I have like sunray tomatoes, a lot of orange and yellow tomatoes. You can see they're so pretty. And then what's really neat is the tomato plants that are growing out of the ground had a bunch of cherry tomatoes. And while I grabbed some, I also cut them off like this. I love when I can cut them like this. Look at that. I love that. That just makes me so happy. So I cut that one off and I cut this one off. Both plants that are growing out of the ground is giving me really good cherry tomatoes, and it's really impressing me a ton. So we have a lot of cherry tomatoes in here, a lot of big tomatoes. This, if I'm not eating them for fresh eating, what I plan to do with these is slice them up. I did this last year. I made these freezer meals where I took a bunch of chicken thighs, stuck them in a Ziploc bag, and I put water, oil, and a bunch of like seasoning, like garlic and onion and whatever other seasoning I, want to put in there. And then I sliced these in half. I took fresh basil from the garden, stuck it in there and froze it. And then when I want to have a quick, easy meal, I just take it out, let it defrost over, like a 24-hour or half the day, put it in the oven, make a quick batch of rice. You guys add it with the rice. It is absolutely delicious. And the tomatoes and basil just taste so good with it. So that's what I'll do if we don't use this for fresh eating. So friends, I greatly appreciate you all stopping by. And even though the garden tour was a little rainy and cloudy today, I always look forward to walking through the garden and showing you all the things that are going on, from thriving to dying and all in between. And I'm beyond grateful for the harvest that I've been able to have every week. And my hope is that in showing the updates and showing the garden and sharing all the harvest encourages you that you can grow food in your backyard as well. I appreciate every single one of you, and I really look forward to seeing you guys next time. And always remember, friends, be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Hey, Samson, can you say hi? You chewing your bone? You say hi to everybody? Hey, bud. You say hi? I love you. My baby. Hey, Chance. You say hi? Say hi, everybody. Say hi. You chewing your bone? Yes, my boy. Yes. Say bye. Say bye. Sweet boy.